Broly's power doesn't start with transformations. It starts with something older, something primal, something most of his race lost control over a long time ago. Because before power became refined, before glowing hair, lightning, and controlled states, there was the Great Ape, the Ozoru, a transformation tied directly to the biology of his people, triggered by Blutz waves reflected from a full moon. The body undergoes a massive change, size increases, power multiplies, and the mind becomes unstable, violent, driven entirely by instinct. This form was never meant to be elegant. It was never meant to be controlled. It was survival, pure, overwhelming force. For most of his race, that power came with a cost. They didn't just transform, they disappeared. Their awareness faded, their humanity vanished, and what remained was destruction. That's why the form was feared, not just by enemies, but by their own people. Because power without control is a threat to everything. But Broly is different. What we see during his battle isn't a full transformation into the Great Ape. There's no giant form, no complete loss of shape. Instead, we see something far more dangerous. A state where the power of the Great Ape is accessed without the physical transformation. A compressed version of something massive. This is often called a wrathful state. But that name doesn't fully explain it. Because this isn't just anger. It's biology being forced beyond its intended limits. It means Broly is pulling the power of the Ozoru directly into his base body. And that changes everything. Because normally the Great Ape form multiplies power by 10 times the base strength. Now imagine that multiplier, condensed into a normal-sized body. No loss of speed, no large target, no obvious weakness, just raw power, focused into something far more efficient. That's what makes this form terrifying. And that's why, as he fights, his body begins to react. He grows. His muscles expand unnaturally. His frame becomes heavier, more imposing. His presence alone begins to pressure everything around him, even before he attacks. And if you look closely during those moments, you can see that pressure affecting his opponents. They aren't just reacting to attacks. They're reacting to presence, to weight, to something that feels like it's increasing every second. His hair shifts. Not fully transformed, but clearly no longer normal. It spikes. It reacts to the energy overflowing inside him. Because his body isn't built to hold this level of power cleanly. It's adapting, but not perfectly. And that imperfection is important. Because this isn't a transformation built on mastery. It's built on instinct, on emotion, on something much older than discipline. And that's where the real difference lies. Most advanced forms stabilize power. They refine it, shape it, make it usable. They create ceilings, defined limits, even at their peak. The Great Ape does the opposite. It amplifies everything. Emotion, aggression, impulse. It removes limits, without adding control. So when Broly accesses that power without transforming, he's breaking a natural rule. He's forcing his body to operate at a level it was never meant to sustain. And that's why he doesn't just become stronger once. He keeps getting stronger, not in steps, but continuously, as if each second of the fight unlocks something deeper, almost like his body is remembering something ancient, something buried. Now think about what that means. His opponents are fighting at defined levels. They transform, they stabilize, they reach a peak, they adapt within limits. But Broly doesn't peak, he escalates. And that's why he starts to overwhelm them. Not immediately, but gradually, inevitably. Now let's address something critical. How was he able to withstand high-level attacks so early? How could he stand against experienced fighters without needing refined forms? The answer comes back to that multiplier. If the Great Ape grants a tenfold increase, then accessing that internally, especially for someone already abnormal, creates a baseline that rivals transformed states. But there's another layer to it: endurance. Because raw power is one thing, but surviving high-level attacks requires durability. And Broly's body doesn't just generate power, it absorbs punishment, adapts to it. Each hit doesn't just damage him, it conditions him, forces his body to adjust even further. And Broly isn't just abnormal, he's extreme. From the beginning, his power level is already beyond standard limits. So when that primal multiplier is applied, it doesn't just elevate him, it launches him into a completely different tier. But power alone isn't enough. There's still the issue of control. Most of his race couldn't fight effectively in their Great Ape state. They were powerful, but reckless, destructive, but inefficient. They attacked everything, without direction, without strategy. Broly is different. He doesn't have full control, but he has enough. Enough awareness to focus, enough instinct to target, enough clarity to fight, without completely losing himself. and that creates something rare, a balance between chaos and direction. A fighter who moves like a beast, but hits like a trained warrior, and that's why his attacks feel overwhelming. They aren't predictable, they aren't refined, but they are constant, relentless. And because they don't follow patterns, they're harder to counter. Now let's go deeper. Why does his body physically change so much? Why does he grow? Why does his presence feel heavier? Because energy in this world isn't passive. It has pressure. When the body generates more power than it can contain, it adapts. Muscles expand to hold that energy. Structure changes to prevent collapse. Muscles expand to hold that energy. Structure changes to prevent collapse. Even the aura becomes denser, more aggressive, more violent. Broly's body isn't transforming once. It's adjusting constantly, trying to survive the energy flowing through it. That's why his form looks unstable, why it feels like it's always shifting, because it is. He's not using a finished transformation. He's in the middle of one, an ongoing evolution. Now this leads to the question people always ask. Is this stronger than traditional transformations? The answer depends on how you define strength. If you look at raw output, this state can rival or exceed higher forms temporarily, because of the multiplier, because of the constant escalation. But if you look at efficiency, control, stability, then refined forms still have the advantage. They allow for precision, for endurance, for consistency. They allow fighters to maintain peak performance without breaking down. Broly's power is different. It's explosive, unstable. But in that instability, there's unpredictability. And unpredictability in a fight is dangerous because you can't plan for it. You can't measure it. You can't adapt to something that keeps changing. Now let's take this even further. What does this say about his race as a whole? The Great Ape represents their origin, their raw, natural state. Uncontrolled. Later forms represent evolution. Power shaped by awareness, guided by emotion, but not consumed by it. And Broly exists between those 2 points. He hasn't abandoned the primal side. He hasn't fully refined it either. He's combining them, imperfectly, but effectively. And that raises a bigger idea. What if this isn't just a unique ability? What if it's a path, a stage of evolution that was never fully explored? A way of using primal power without becoming a slave to it? Because if that's possible, then Broly isn't just strong. He's ahead, not in control, but in potential, and that's what makes him different. He's not relying on structured progression. He's breaking through it, and that's something his opponents aren't prepared for, because they're fighting within a system, and he isn't. Now connect that to everything we've seen. A warrior who grows stronger mid-battle, a body that adapts instead of stabilizes, a mind that balances instinct and awareness. This isn't just a transformation. It's a process, a continuous state of becoming. And that process leads to one final thought. What if the true potential of his race was never about choosing between control and instinct? What if it was always about combining both? Not perfectly, but effectively. And if that's true, then what Broly shows us isn't just power. It's direction, a glimpse into something unfinished, something evolving, something that hasn't reached its final form yet. And maybe that's the real reason he feels so overwhelming. No one fully understands. Something that doesn't follow rules, something that doesn't stop, and something that, if left unchecked, might never reach a limit at all. If you made it this far, comment which character would you like next time on Hidden Tier.